Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 40 plus days away from its official release by Disney and Lucasfilm that is all set and ready to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of fans are really looking forward to is exactly how this film is going to wrap up the entire Skywalker saga. We are talking about the past 8 Star Wars films that come before this one, ranging from the prequels to the originals that started back in 1977. And this really is a big deal by Disney and Lucasfilm and also to the Star Wars community around the entire world in order to really make us view this movie as a legendary film. Disney and Lucasfilm really have to get this down correctly. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the big plans by Disney and Lucasfilm, and many of the different changes and adjustments that they have been going through, this is exactly where, of course, Disney and Lucasfilm are in a tough spot when it comes to the ending of Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that it's explained that both Disney and Lucasfilm are currently in post-production for the film, after many reshoots took place during the months of August, September, and October. It's explained that during this phase, they changed many of the sequences surrounding the characters of Kylo Ren, Rey, and even Palpatine. It's described that one of the big problems with the film right now that Disney and Lucasfilm are trying to figure out is deciding between 3 different endings that would best fit for the final version of the movie. It's described that Disney and Lucasfilm are working around the clock to rush to an acceptable ending for the franchise that would fit and sit well with the fan base around the world, and that they are currently changing the technology that they use for the CGI and the special effects to retouch the sequences. It's explained that Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy have a strategy in place in order to get the scenes cut and put together as fast as possible before the film is finally ready in late November, before they begin to ship them out to theater chains in early December. It's explained and described that Disney is in a state of changing multiple scenes for the ending of the film that will also have a chain reaction to how some scenes will be done in the third act and making last-minute decisions as we speak. So let's go over a couple of parts about this as to why this really seems like a recipe for disaster when it comes to Disney and Lucasfilm developing the latest Star Wars movie and, of course, trying to really rush to a specific ending of Episode 9. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, whenever you're rushing through things, that's not a good sign about anything at all. You know, you should really take as much time as you need to for a Star Wars film this big and so important as this one, to the point where they really have to get the ending down correctly. Now, the other thing about all of this that we do know is that they also are trying to change the technology that they are using for CGI and special effects related to the film surrounding the characters of Rey, Kylo, and Palpatine within his own throne room at the very end of Episode 9. Now, this movie does have a lot of, changes that it went through. It went through a lot of different reshoots for 3 months straight. You guys may recall back in August, September and October. Those big months, really changed how the second and third acts of the movie were handled by Disney and Lucasfilm, including pretty much the cancellation of the main villain, being, of course, the Dark Acolyte portrayed by Matt Smith. That was put to the wayside, and originally they were testing with 6 different endings, and they are now down to 3 different endings that they are changing and adjusting and trying to choose from. One of which being is, of course, Rey becoming a Skywalker, or just calling herself a Skywalker and adopting that surname, which honestly, in my point of view, that would be a terrible decision if they do in fact choose that actual ending for the final version of the movie. That's just my opinion though. I would like to know what you guys think about that below in the comments. Now, everything related to Lucasfilm and Disney, we've seen a lot of reshoots take place, with past Star Wars films, including Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and even Solo, A Star Wars Story. Solo, I think, was the worst case scenario for Star Wars overall. The fact that they had to reshoot 80% of the movie and really spend a lot more money and pretty much, up the budget of the film to really make Ron Howard direct and pretty much write a perfect Star Wars film. And that's exactly why it didn't do too well at the box office, is because not only did The Last Jedi Backlash have an effect on that, but also because they had to spend a lot more money on reshoots. And that's exactly what's happening here with The Rise of Skywalker to a certain extent, maybe not to the same exact level as it was for Solo, but they're still spending more money and really upping the budget for The Rise of Skywalker in order to really make those reshoots possible, in order to use the specific types of technology that they're using for special effects, and of course everything related to that in the ending of Episode 9. The fact that they are trying to rush through this in order to make this movie ready by late November, before they ship, the actual reels out and the digital versions out to theater chains in early December, before, the theater chains are able to get them, they have to make this movie pretty much, complete and ready to ship to everybody, like AMC, National Amusements, I mean, you name it, right? So I would love to hear what you guys have to say about everything related to this phase of The Rise of Skywalker by Disney and Lucasfilm. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.